Beloved, chosen one, stop scrolling. Heaven has paused this very moment to speak directly to you. This is not a coincidence, not a random word floating through the noise of the world. This is divine intervention. Your name has been spoken in the courts of heaven, and the sound of it sent angels into motion. You have been marked, not by the world, but by eternity itself. Listen carefully, because heaven is calling. And this time, you cannot ignore the sound. You have felt it before, haven't you? That strange pull deep within your chest. The sudden stillness that makes time feel heavy, as if creation itself is waiting for your answer. That's the call. That's heaven whispering. You were made for more. You've tried to silence it before, buried it under routine, under pain, under fear. But tonight, the call has found you again, because when heaven calls a name, it never stops echoing until the soul answers. You've walked through fire and shadow, wondering if anyone noticed. You've cried silent prayers, unsure if they ever left the room. But the truth, chosen one, is that heaven has been tracking every tear, every sigh, every moment you chose to get back up instead of giving up. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. The hand of God has been resting over your life, even in silence. The angels know your voice. They have carried your prayers before the throne, and now they carry this message back to you. Your season of hiding is over. Heaven has authorized your unveiling. Everything that has tried to delay your purpose is about to bow, because when God calls, nothing can stay the same. Pause and feel that weight. Yes, that trembling in your spirit. That is confirmation. Heaven is shifting the air around you. The atmosphere recognizes divine authority when it enters the room. And right now, that authority is moving through you. This is not the time to hesitate. You've been called out of comfort and into consecration, out of distraction and into destiny. Heaven has sent angels to clear your path, but they cannot walk for you. You must move. You must respond. You must say, "Here I am." You see, heaven's call is not just a summons, it's a separation. It separates the ordinary from the anointed, the called from the chosen. You've always felt different because you are different. You don't fit in because you were never meant to. You are set apart. The light in you is too bright for shallow spaces. You have questioned your worth because the world never affirmed what heaven already established. But this is your divine reminder. You are not behind schedule. You are right on time. Heaven is never late in its appointments. Every delay was preparation. Every detour was training. The weight you carried was not punishment, it was proof of your assignment. Chosen one. Your name is not just written in heaven, it's being spoken right now. Angels are being released in response. You might not see them, but the evidence will show soon enough. Doors that refuse to open will unlock effortlessly. People who turned their backs will suddenly remember your name. The supernatural will begin to interrupt your natural, because heaven is setting the stage for what comes next. But don't mistake this call for comfort. It's a call to warfare. When heaven calls your name, hell trembles. The darkness that once followed you will begin to panic, because your awakening signals its defeat. That's why the resistance intensified lately. That's why it felt harder to breathe, harder to believe. The enemy always attacks hardest when heaven is about to promote you. So breathe. Chosen one. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. The shaking you feel is the sound of chains falling. The unease is transformation. The fear is just the last roar of the old you, terrified of being replaced by the one heaven always intended. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." You are about to soar. The days of crawling through confusion are over. Heaven did not call your name to watch you collapse. It called you to rise. You will run with endurance. You will walk in divine strength. And when you speak, your words will carry weight because they come from a place of revelation, not desperation. So right now, lift your head. Let the tears fall if they must, but don't hide your face. Heaven sees you. The angels have been unleashed to surround you. You are not standing alone, you are standing under divine surveillance, divine favor, divine covering. If this word burns in your chest, don't let it pass like another fleeting emotion. Respond. Declare it aloud. I hear you, Lord. Type below the number 777 as a prophetic act, a sign of completion, of divine perfection, of heaven's alignment with your calling. Then like, share, and subscribe so this message reaches every other chosen one still waiting for their reminder. Your obedience is the signal heaven's been waiting for. The angels are already in motion. The call has been released. Heaven called your name. Now answer it. You walk through the echo of heaven's call, and silence follows like a faithful shadow. The world around you hasn't changed much. Same streets, same people, same routine, but something inside you has shifted. The air feels different, as if the unseen has drawn closer. You can sense it, a divine gaze watching over you, a holy whisper lingering just behind your thoughts. You're not lost. You're being led through a wilderness you didn't choose but were chosen for. Every chosen one must pass through this wilderness, this sacred training ground where comfort dies and calling is refined. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Heaven hides you here to sharpen your senses, to strip away the noise so you can recognize the voice that truly matters. It's here, in isolation, that the faint whisper of destiny becomes unmistakable. The wilderness is not empty, it's full of divine instruction. You begin to realize that every rejection was God redirecting you. Every closed door was divine protection. Every lonely night was heaven whispering, "Listen to me. You've mistaken silence for absence. But in truth, silence is where heaven speaks the loudest. The whisper of heaven doesn't compete with chaos. It waits until you are still. That's why everything you leaned on started falling apart, because God wanted your attention. Every crumbling relationship, every plan that failed, every opportunity that vanished was heaven saying, "Be still. There's something I need you to hear." Now you understand why you were misunderstood, why people left, why doors shut in your face. Heaven wasn't punishing you, it was pulling you aside. You were never meant to blend in. The wilderness was heaven's classroom, and the lessons were never meant to be comfortable. You are learning the language of angels' obedience, patience, endurance. Listen closely now. The whisper you once ignored has become a steady rhythm inside your soul. It tells you to move differently, to speak differently, to walk with unseen authority. It's a whisper that demands stillness before action, prayer before response, Surrender before success. This whisper is not for everyone, it's for the ones who refuse to be ordinary. There's beauty in this hidden place, even when it feels unbearable. You're shedding layers you thought were essential. But heaven is revealing that you are strongest when stripped of everything but faith. This is where the foundation of the chosen is laid deep in the soil of solitude, watered by tears, illuminated by revelation. You recall those moments when you wanted to quit, when your strength was gone, yet something invisible kept you going. That wasn't coincidence, that was divine preservation. You were being held, carried even, by unseen hands. The wilderness is not the end of your story. It's the place where your true story begins. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. That promise still stands. Even when you can't see the plan, heaven's silence does not equal heaven's absence. The angels have not abandoned you. They're working behind the veil, arranging divine appointments and preparing breakthroughs you're not yet ready to hold. You are being positioned, not punished. You are being trained to recognize heaven's timing, because destiny demands discipline. If God gave you everything too soon, it would crush you. That's why the wilderness exists, to make you capable of carrying what's coming. Every day you endure here, your spiritual muscles grow stronger. Every tear shed becomes oil for the anointing that's forming on your life. This is where your roots go deep. Heaven does not build towers on shallow soil. You are being planted, not buried. You are not forgotten in the wilderness. You are being fortified. Even now, angels move quietly around you. You might not hear their wings, but you'll see their work. The sudden peace in chaos, the quiet reassurance when fear tries to speak again, those are traces of their presence. Heaven is closer than it feels. So don't rush this part of your story. Don't despise the waiting. The whisper in the wilderness is shaping you into someone who cannot be shaken. You will come out of this with eyes that see through illusion, with ears that discern truth, with a heart that no longer bows to fear. One day soon, you'll look back and realize that the wilderness was not your exile, it was your encounter. You'll understand that the silence was never empty. It was full of heaven's preparation. You were being taught to walk by faith, not by sight. You are being sculpted into someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, but glows in fire. Someone who knows the sound of heaven even in the darkest places. Someone who walks with quiet confidence because they know who called them. The whisper that began in the wilderness will soon become a roar that shakes nations. But for now, you listen, you learn, and you let heaven finish what it started. You carry marks that the world cannot see. Scars, both visible and hidden, carved into your spirit by battles you didn't choose, but somehow survived. Every wound tells a story of endurance, of faith, of the nights you bled silently and still refused to surrender. You thought the pain disqualified you, but heaven saw it as proof. Proof that you endured what was meant to destroy you. And in doing so, you became a vessel that heaven can now trust with power. Your wounds were never signs of weakness. They were doors, portals through which divine strength entered you. Every heartbreak tore something open in your soul, making room for more of God's presence. Every betrayal pushed you deeper into the arms of the one who never leaves. You are being transformed from the inside out. not in spite of your pain, but through it. There were nights when the silence felt unbearable, when tears blurred your prayers, when it seemed like the heavens were closed. But heaven was closer in those moments than you realized. Every tear you shed was a conversation between your soul and the divine. Heaven heard, angels recorded, and now the healing begins. The world told you to hide your scars, to cover your cracks, to pretend nothing ever broke you. But heaven says the opposite: show them, because the cracks are where the light gets in and also where it shines out. Your story carries authority because it's been baptized in fire. You are not a victim of pain, you are the carrier of redemption. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 16, verse 33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." These words still pulse through eternity, finding you now, reminding you that the same victory that conquered death is alive within you. Your wounds are not the end of the story, they are the evidence of resurrection power at work in your life. Look closer at those scars. Do you see how they shine when light hits them? That's not coincidence, that's revelation. Each one glows with the memory of survival, of faith that refused to die. Heaven is proud of those scars. They tell angels that you are reliable, that you will not shatter under pressure, that you are ready to carry greater glory. You are not what happened to you. You are what survived it. The pain you endured has refined your discernment. You can now sense when something is off. Feel when a spirit carries false light. Know when someone's words are empty. You have been trained by suffering to recognize truth. And that discernment is your crown. The devil hoped your wounds would silence you, but heaven intends them to amplify you, because there's power in a healed voice. There's anointing in testimony. When you speak from the place of redemption, chains start to break off others without you even trying. That's the glory of the chosen. Your healing becomes someone else's breakthrough. You may not have realized it, but your survival has already set things in motion. Someone is about to find freedom because of what you went through. Your endurance was not wasted, it was multiplied. Every scar carries a ripple of deliverance that moves through generations. You thought you were fighting alone, but heaven was building a legacy through your pain. This is why the angels have been assigned to you. They were witnesses to every battle. They saw you crawl through the valley when others gave up. They saw you worship through tears. Now, they rise beside you as heaven begins to turn your mourning into momentum. There is no shame in your wounds. They are sacred evidence of transformation. Let the world see them. Speak the truth of how far you've come. You are living proof that God's mercy endures forever. That grace still reaches into the darkest places. That beauty truly rises from ashes. Even now, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Old pain is losing its grip. The bitterness that once clung to your memory is melting under divine light. You are not meant to live in the shadow of what hurt you. You are meant to radiate the glory of what healed you. Your story is not over. Heaven is still writing, still redeeming, still unveiling. The wounds that once screamed of sorrow will soon sing of victory. You will look back and see how every scar became a signature of divine craftsmanship. You were not broken, you were being shaped into something eternal. So now, chosen one, look at your reflection and see not the one who was wounded, but the one who is being crowned. You are proof that pain can birth purpose, that ashes can glow with fire again. that grace always wins. Comment below, "I am healed," because when you declare those 3 words, you agree with heaven's decree. You remind the darkness that its claim over you has expired. You align your voice with truth, and angels move at the sound of it. Every time you say it, healing multiplies within you and through you. Speak it, believe it, live it, you are healed. And heaven celebrates your restoration. The air begins to hum with a strange electricity. You feel it before you see it, a stillness that carries presence, a silence that feels alive. The veil between the seen and unseen is thinning, and something divine is moving toward you. Heaven is stirring, and its movement takes the form of wings. You were never alone in this journey, even when the world forgot you. Heaven assigned guardians to your path, angels, holy messengers, radiant and fierce, have been stationed around you from the beginning. They watched as you wrestled with despair, as you whispered prayers through trembling lips. They have not left. They have waited for heaven's command, and that command has finally been spoken. The angels have been unleashed. Their movement is not always visible, yet the evidence is unmistakable. Doors open where there were only walls. Favor follows where logic says it shouldn't. Safety surrounds you in moments when danger should have prevailed. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. You are being escorted by heaven's army, and they have orders to make sure nothing stands between you and your destiny. The Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11 declares, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." These ancient words are not a metaphor, they are a decree still alive today. The command has already been issued. You walk under divine protection, your path lined with invisible sentinels who bow only to the will of God. Even now, they are adjusting things in your life. People are being shifted, opportunities redirected, unseen threats dismantled. You may not hear the clash of their swords, but you will feel the peace they bring. Because wherever angels move, fear has to flee. Think back to those moments that could have ended differently, the near accidents, the sudden changes, the strange peace that made no sense. You thought it was luck or timing, but it was not. It was intervention. Heaven's army intercepted what was meant to harm you. You are alive because angels obeyed. These celestial beings do not move by human will. They respond to divine alignment. That is why heaven waited until now, until your spirit was ready, until your obedience became your language. Angels are drawn to faith, not fear. And as your faith began to rise, they began to move. The air around you now carries the resonance of their presence. You can sense it when you pray and feel the warmth that follows. You can feel it in the way peace enters the room before words even form. The supernatural is no longer distant, it's standing beside you. You are walking into a realm where coincidences cease to exist. The right person calls at the right time. The delay you feared turns into a divine appointment. The battle that should have crushed you instead becomes your platform. These are the footprints of angels, the visible trace of invisible power. But remember this: chosen one angels are not your servants, they are heaven's soldiers assigned to you. They move when you align with the will of God. They protect when you walk in obedience. They war when you speak truth. This is why purity of heart matters, why integrity of purpose cannot be compromised. Heaven's forces surround those who walk in righteousness. When your words echo heaven's truth, angels recognize your voice. When you declare peace in chaos, they respond. When you choose forgiveness over bitterness, they draw near. You are part of a divine strategy, an earthly vessel working in sync with celestial power. Do not underestimate what happens when heaven partners with humanity. Every act of obedience releases motion in the unseen. Every moment of surrender triggers movement above you. Angels don't just guard, they deliver, restore, and announce what God has declared. Right now, they are preparing paths you will walk soon. Some of those paths lead through opposition, not because you are unprotected, but because your victory there will reveal heaven's glory. You are not just surviving, you are demonstrating the supernatural. You will know the angels have moved when peace enters before answers do. You will recognize their presence when the impossible begins to unfold naturally, quietly, perfectly timed. Heaven does not rush, it aligns. And you are standing in that alignment now. Lift your eyes. Chosen one, you are surrounded by light. The world cannot see what heaven has stationed beside you, but all of creation recognizes who you walk with. The darkness has already noticed, which is why resistance has grown louder. Yet no force can prevail against what God has established. The angels have been unleashed not to entertain, but to enforce divine order, to fulfill heaven's promises, to ensure your steps never fall outside destiny. You are covered, you are surrounded, you are accompanied by the very hosts of heaven. And as you continue forward, the sound of their wings will not frighten you, it will remind you that you are never walking alone. Something sacred awakens inside you. It starts as a spark, quiet, almost imperceptible, but it grows with every heartbeat. The heaviness that once clouded your soul begins to lift, and suddenly you sense life stirring again. You are not the same as before. The wilderness has stripped you, refined you, and now heaven breathes upon what remains. The awakening has begun. You feel it in the way your thoughts shift, in the new hunger that rises within you. The distractions that once captivated you now seem empty. The noise that used to drown out heaven's whisper no longer satisfies. This is what awakening feels like, not chaos, but clarity. It's as if your spirit is remembering who it truly is, an eternal being, crafted in divine purpose, moving through time with heaven's fire in its veins. The hand of God is resting over you again, not to weigh you down, but to stir something dormant. What was once broken is being restored, not merely to its original state, but into something stronger, something radiant. The flame within you is no longer flickering, it's blazing. The world may not understand this transformation. They'll say you've changed, and they'll be right. The version of you that once settled for survival has died. In its place stands someone who has tasted divine reality and can no longer pretend to be ordinary. You've seen too much, felt too much, endured too much to go back to sleep. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 5. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones: I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. Those words were spoken once in a valley of dry bones, but now they speak again. This time over you. Heaven is breathing into your dry places, your dreams, your passion, your courage. They are all inhaling the breath of God. You are coming alive again. This is not emotional excitement, it is resurrection. The same spirit that hovered over the waters in creation now hovers over your life. He is reshaping what was scattered, reawakening what was silent. You may not have seen the full picture yet, but make no mistake, revival has already begun inside you. And when heaven awakens a soul, that awakening spreads. Every room you enter begins to shift. The weary find peace near you. The broken start to hope again. You carry light in your words and fire in your eyes. This is the evidence of awakening, not perfection, but presence, not flawless living, but fearless faith. Do you feel it? That steady pulse of divine energy. It's the rhythm of heaven syncing with your heartbeat. It's why the things that used to drain you no longer have power. It's why peace follows you even into storms. You've stepped into a new spiritual frequency, one that darkness cannot imitate. But remember, this awakening is not just for you, it's meant to awaken others. The light in you was never meant to stay contained. It is contagious. When you speak, heaven's language echoes. When you move, grace flows through your steps. You are becoming a living invitation for others to rise. The world needs that light now more than ever. You are not here by accident. You are a divine response to this generation's darkness. Heaven looked at the timeline of history, saw the rising storm, and decided to send you. That's why you feel things so deeply, why your heart breaks for injustice, why you cannot settle for shallow living. You were designed to disrupt darkness simply by existing in truth. The angels who walk with you now move not just for protection, but for purpose. They are aligning divine encounters, moments where your words, your presence, your story will awaken others. You'll meet someone and feel it instantly. Heaven set this up. That's what happens when a chosen one walks fully awake. Heaven works through every step. As you read these words, you already feel it. Don't you? That quiet assurance that this message isn't just another speech, it's confirmation. You are ready to walk in your calling. The fire in your bones won't let you stay silent anymore. Heaven is counting on your yes. And, beloved, if this message resonates deep within you, don't keep it hidden. Share it not out of routine, but out of revelation. When you like, share, and subscribe, you're not just engaging with content, you're aligning with calling. You're helping this divine echo reach every other chosen one still asleep in the dark. Maybe your small act of obedience is the spark that awakens another soul. So spread the word as an act of faith. Share this message as a seed of light. Let heaven multiply what you release, because every yes you give becomes a ripple in eternity, drawing others toward their awakening. You are alive again. Chosen one. The angels know your name. The spirit within you is roaring back to life, and heaven is smiling because the great awakening has begun, and it starts with you. You can sense it, the shift. It's not something you can explain to others, but deep within. You know, something cosmic is rearranging around your life. The spiritual atmosphere feels heavier, charged, alive. You are standing at the edge of transition, between what was and what is about to be. Heaven is reordering everything connected to your destiny. Nothing is random anymore. Every delay, every redirection, every sudden stirring in your heart, it all points to movement in the unseen realm. You are walking through divine realignment. What once worked no longer does, because you have outgrown old assignments. The season that once fit you perfectly now feels too small. too quiet, too still. That is not frustration, it's spiritual evolution. The heavens are shifting because your name has been mentioned again before the throne. Angels have been given new instructions. You've completed one cycle of preparation. And now, heaven is moving you into manifestation. But the shift does not come gently, it comes with shaking. The structures of the old must collapse to make space for the new. You've felt the tension, relationships changing, doors closing, familiar paths fading. Yet this is not loss, it is refinement. Heaven is pruning everything that cannot travel with you into this next season. The comfort you once craved is being replaced with holy discomfort because God refuses to let you settle in places beneath your destiny. The voice of God thundered in the book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 9. The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house, declares the Lord Almighty. And in this place I will grant peace. That promise now belongs to you. The shaking around you is not destruction, it's construction. Heaven is rebuilding you from the foundation up, replacing weakness with strength, fear with faith, confusion with clarity. You are not losing, you are being upgraded. Even now, angels are repositioning things in your life. What looked like a closed door is about to swing open from the other side. What felt delayed is about to accelerate without warning. The divine clock has struck a new hour, and the pace of your life is shifting to match heaven's rhythm. Don't be afraid when things start to fall apart. They are not falling apart, they are falling into place. God is not punishing you, He is positioning you. He is rearranging your environment to mirror your new identity. The old networks can no longer sustain your new assignment. The old dreams were too small for where He's taking you. You will soon notice strange alignments, people appearing out of nowhere, opportunities you never asked for, divine interruptions that shift your entire direction. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. Heaven is mapping your next chapter with precision, and you are walking straight into the center of divine purpose. There will be moments of confusion. Yes, you will wonder why things that once felt blessed now feel empty. But the Spirit whispers, because I am making room. The emptiness is not abandonment, it's preparation for fullness. Heaven is teaching you to let go before it fills your hands again. This shift is not gentle because it is holy. Glory never enters quietly, it shakes foundations, exposes motives, and awakens everything asleep within you. Don't resist it. Let it stretch you. Let it make you uncomfortable. Growth never happens in the familiar. It happens in the fire of transformation. The angels assigned to you are not idle. They are at work, tearing down old patterns, cutting away spiritual clutter, and securing new pathways. You are walking under divine supervision. Heaven is conducting a holy renovation in your life. In the coming days, you will sense more movement. The Spirit will begin nudging you toward decisions that feel unfamiliar but necessary. Follow the peace, not the crowd. The shift will require faith, but it will reward obedience. And when doubt whispers that you're unqualified, remember, you wouldn't be under this much pressure if you weren't being prepared for promotion. Pressure is heaven's way of shaping diamonds from dust. You are being refined to shine. Take a breath. Chosen one. Feel the trembling beneath your feet. It's not fear. It's momentum. The old is passing, and the new is birthing. What once resisted you will soon recognize you. The world is about to see evidence of what heaven already declared. You are chosen, appointed, and unshakable. Now, as a prophetic act, comment the number 888 below. This number represents new beginnings and divine cycles of completion. When you type it, you're not just engaging, you're agreeing. You're declaring to heaven, I align with this shift. I'm ready for the new. Every time someone speaks that number, it echoes through the spirit realm as a sound of readiness. Angels hear it. Heaven records it. It becomes a mark of those who refuse to stay where they were. So stand tall. Chosen one, you are in the middle of holy movement. Heaven has turned the page. The shift is not coming, it's here. And it carries your name. Fire. You feel it deep within your bones, a burning that is not physical, yet more real than anything you've ever known. It's not the fire of destruction, but the fire of transformation. The wilderness refined you. The shift aligned you. And now, heaven ignites you. You carry something that cannot be explained, only experienced. It's holy fire, a flame born in secret places and sustained by obedience. You have always been drawn to light, even when surrounded by darkness. That pull inside of you was not random, it was recognition. The fire you feel now is the same fire that appeared to Moses in the wilderness, the same flame that fell on Elijah's altar, the same presence that rested as tongues of fire on the apostles. It is not a symbol, it is a sign that heaven has entrusted you with power. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 38. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. That same fire burns in you now, not to destroy, but to purify, not to terrify, but to testify. Every spark within your spirit is heaven's confirmation that you are chosen to carry divine authority on earth. You were not called to blend in, you were called to blaze. The enemy has tried to quench this flame, whispering lies to make you doubt your worth, using distractions to make you forget who you are. But he failed, because what burns in you is not human, it's divine. You did not light this fire, and therefore, you cannot extinguish it. It came from the breath of God, and it will only grow stronger with every step of faith you take. There's something unexplainable about this kind of fire. It changes how you move through life. You begin to speak with conviction. You begin to see with spiritual vision. You begin to walk with authority that even darkness recognizes. Demons retreat when you pray. Atmospheres shift when you worship. That's what it means to carry fire. You become a living altar. And wherever you go, heaven manifests. Do not fear the intensity of what you feel. It's supposed to be intense. Holy things are never mild. You were designed to handle the heat of your calling. This fire within you will not consume you. It will clarify you. It will reveal the gold hidden beneath years of ashes. Every trial you endured was fuel for this moment. Every betrayal was kindling. Every heartbreak was tinder. And now, heaven strikes the match. You will begin to notice divine courage rising in your spirit, courage to speak truth, to stand for righteousness, to walk away from compromise. The fire within you cannot coexist with lukewarm living. That is why you felt restless around things that used to satisfy you. Heaven's fire purifies your appetite. It burns away the desire for temporary comfort and replaces it with eternal hunger. This fire is not for display, it's for impact. It was never meant to stay contained within your heart. Fire spreads. It illuminates. It transforms everything it touches. And soon, those around you will feel its warmth. Some will be drawn to it, others will be convicted by it. But you must not dim it to make others comfortable. Your flame is meant to disturb the darkness. When heaven trusts someone with fire, it means they've proven faithful in the shadows. You have. You endured what others escaped. You stayed when others left. You worshipped when others doubted. That's why this fire found you. It doesn't rest on the proud or the passive, it rests on the faithful. You are not just carrying passion, you are carrying presence. This is the kind of fire that heals the broken, restores the weary, and revives what the world calls dead. When you walk into a room, atmospheres will bow to the light you carry. You are not trying to make a difference, you are the difference. But with great fire comes great responsibility. You must protect it. You must feed it daily through prayer, through surrender, through purity of heart. Fire needs fuel, and your devotion is its oxygen. The moment you allow fear or distraction to settle in, the flame flickers. But when you choose obedience, it roars. There will be times when the fire feels like too much, when your calling feels heavy and your spirit weary. But remember, heaven never gives fire without grace. The same Spirit who ignites you will sustain you. You are not burning out. You are burning through every limitation that ever tried to contain you. Lift your eyes. Chosen one. The glow you carry is visible in the spirit realm. Angels recognize it. Darkness fears it. Heaven celebrates it. You are no longer just a survivor, you are a torchbearer. You are a vessel of divine flame. And everywhere you go, the fire of God goes with you. There are battles that no one sees, wars fought not on open fields, but in the quiet corners of your mind and heart. These are the places where faith is tested, where doubt whispers loudest, and where the enemy works hardest to convince you that you are alone. But you are not. The heavens are aware of every inner war. And even now, angels stand beside you in silence, their swords drawn, their eyes fixed on your deliverance. This is the hidden battlefield, the place where no applause is heard, no witnesses stand, and yet victories are won that shape eternity. The greatest wars are fought in secret because that is where destiny is forged. Every temptation resisted, every fear faced, every thought surrendered to heaven becomes a blow against the darkness. You are fighting not just for yourself, but for generations to come. The Spirit once spoke through the Apostle in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You are living proof of that truth. The warfare that surrounds your life is not random, it's recognition. The darkness knows your potential and fears the moment you realize it. The attacks increased not because you were weak, but because you were dangerous. Every sleepless night, every whisper of despair, every wave of resistance was an attempt to stop your awakening. But heaven has declared you unstoppable. In these secret battles, the enemy does not come with horns and shadows, he comes as confusion, fatigue, distraction, and fear. He speaks in familiar voices. uses familiar faces, and tries to disguise himself in logic and reason. But the spirit within you recognizes him every time. That unease you feel when something looks right but doesn't sit right, that's discernment. That's heaven's alarm bell, reminding you that not everything that glitters is gold. You have walked through seasons where you felt like you were losing your mind. Anxiety pressed against your chest like an iron weight. Thoughts spun like storms, and you wondered if you'd ever feel peace again. But through every breakdown, heaven was teaching you to lean on truth, not feeling. The truth that God never leaves, that His word never fails, that angels never retreat. You must understand, beloved, that not every battle is meant to be fought the same way. Some wars are won by standing still, some by worship, some by silence. Heaven has been training you to discern which battles require your roar and which require your rest. You are not called to fight everything, you are called to fight strategically. The angels who guard you are not passive observers. They move with precision. When you pray, they advance. When you speak faith instead of fear, their swords flash through the unseen. When you forgive your enemies, their wings spread wider to shield your heart. Your obedience fuels heaven's movement. This is why the battle has been so intense, because you are learning to command the unseen through your choices. You are no longer a victim of your thoughts, you are the ruler of them. You no longer react to darkness, you respond to divine instruction. This is maturity in the spirit realm. And the enemy cannot manipulate someone who knows who they are. Every temptation resisted becomes a declaration of ownership. Every moment you choose light over shadow, heaven expands its influence through you. You are not fighting to earn victory, you are fighting from it. The cross already won the war. Your task is to enforce the victory in your territory. There will be days when the battle feels heavy again, when thoughts crowd your mind and emotions wage war against truth. In those moments, remember who you are. You are not the wounded soldier crawling for safety. You are the general carrying heaven's authority. When you speak, angels move. When you declare peace, storms obey. When you worship, the walls of hell tremble. This hidden place, though painful, is also sacred. Here, your intimacy with God deepens. Here, your trust is tested and purified. Here, you learn to recognize His voice even in the noise. The victories you win in secret will soon manifest in public. The battles that broke you will become the stories that build others. Do not despise this battlefield. It's where your power is forged. The fire of Section 7 prepared you. This battle proves you. You are being shaped into a weapon heaven can trust, sharp, steady, and unstoppable. And though you may still feel weary at times, know this: heaven fights beside you. The angels have been unleashed not only to guard you, but to war for you. You are surrounded by light in a world that cannot comprehend it. The darkness can roar, but it cannot prevail. So stand firm, chosen one. Breathe deep. Lift your head even when the shadows linger. The war is real, but so is your victory. The angels move with you. The Spirit speaks through you, and heaven's banner flies above you. You are not alone in the hidden place, you are anointed for it. There comes a moment when the sound of victory breaks through the silence, a tone not of triumph shouted from the battlefield, but of peace rising from your spirit. After all the storms, all the hidden wars, all the nights when you thought heaven had gone quiet. You begin to hear a rhythm again. It's faint at first, like the heartbeat of heaven syncing with your own. Then it grows stronger, louder, unstoppable. This is the sound of victory, not loud celebration, but holy assurance. You no longer need to prove that you've won, you simply know it. The fear that once haunted you has lost its power. The shame that once silenced you has been burned away. What remains is unshakable peace. A peace that confuses the enemy because it cannot be disturbed. You have passed through fire and shadow, but you did not come out empty-handed. You carry wisdom now, authority, clarity. You no longer pray as one begging for rescue. You pray as one who knows they are backed by heaven itself. The angels who once guarded you now march at your command. The tears you once cried have turned into seeds of glory. Scripture says in the second letter to Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 14, "But thanks be to God, who always leads us in triumph in Christ, and through us spreads the fragrance of the knowledge of Him everywhere." You are walking proof of that verse. The fragrance of your endurance is spreading through your life, touching others without you even realizing it. Your quiet perseverance has become an aroma. Heaven recognizes a scent of faith refined by fire. Everywhere you go, that essence of victory lingers. This is not arrogance, it's awareness. You have learned that victory doesn't always look like applause. It often looks like peace in the storm, stillness in chaos, and trust in uncertainty. That is what terrifies the darkness most, a soul that refuses to lose faith even when surrounded by fire. You've learned to worship in warfare, to praise through pain, to speak life when death tried to whisper your name. These are not small things, they are the sounds of triumph. Heaven measures victory, not in noise, but in obedience. Every yes you gave in the face of fear echoed louder than any shout. There's a sacred silence that follows victory. You might have expected celebration, but instead, heaven gives you calm. It's because the war inside you has ended. The storm no longer lives in your heart, it now trembles beneath your feet. You walk as one who knows that nothing can separate you from divine love. You can feel this peace in your chest now. Can't you? It's steady, weighty, alive. You've spent so long bracing for battle that rest feels unfamiliar, but this is holy rest. Heaven's kind of rest. It doesn't mean the world will stop shaking. It means you've learned how to stand while it does. Your voice carries a new tone now. It's not desperation, it's declaration. You speak, and the atmosphere adjusts. You pray, and you feel heaven respond instantly. This is what it means to live in rhythm with God, to know that even before you ask, He's already preparing the answer. You begin to realize that victory isn't about what you conquer, it's about who you become through the process. Every trial stripped away another layer of fear until only truth remained. And that truth is simple. You were never fighting for victory, you were fighting from it. Christ already won, and you are simply walking out the manifestation of that win. In this place of triumph, humility becomes your crown. You know the power you carry isn't your own. You remember the nights you would have fallen apart without divine grace. That memory keeps your heart tender even as your authority grows stronger. True power doesn't boast, it serves. It lifts. It restores. The angels that once warred for you now celebrate beside you. They've seen what you endured, and they know what few do, that your faith wasn't fragile. It was forged. You were never weak. You were being refined. And now, Your very presence becomes a weapon against despair. Wherever you walk, victory follows. Yet this is not the end, it's a turning point. Heaven never stops expanding, and neither will you. Every victory opens another door. Every breakthrough reveals a deeper calling. You are being prepared for greater realms of influence, greater demonstrations of divine glory. But for now, heaven allows you this moment to breathe, to rest, to know that you have overcome. So, take this breath as an act of faith. You've made it through the season that tried to break you. You are no longer the same soul that entered the wilderness. You walk with fire in your eyes, peace in your spirit, and victory in your stride. Now, as a declaration of that triumph, comment below, "I have won." Let it be more than a phrase. Let it be a proclamation. When you write those 3 words, you are confirming to heaven what has already been settled in eternity. You are marking this moment as the turning point of your journey. The enemy may have tried to silence you, but your victory speaks louder than his lies. So say it. Believe it. Live it, because heaven already has. The sound of victory is your new heartbeat, and it will echo for the rest of your days. The storm no longer threatens you, it crowns you. Every gust that once tried to knock you down now bends beneath your feet. You stand where fear once ruled, and the air around you carries the residue of divine authority. You've been through too much to be easily shaken now. The winds that terrified you before have become the very winds that lift you higher. You are not the same soul who once begged for calm seas. You have learned how to command storms instead of fearing them. You have discovered that peace is not the absence of chaos, but the presence of God in the middle of it. The pressure you thought would crush you has instead crowned you. The Word of God declares in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." That crown is not made of gold or jewels, it's made of endurance. Every test you endured became a thread woven into that crown. Every trial that should have broken you became a gem set into it. You wear it now, though the world cannot see it. Heaven does. The angels do. And the darkness that once mocked you now trembles at the sight of it. You are crowned not because of ease, but because of endurance. You stayed. You held on. You refused to give up when everything in you screamed to stop. That's what sets the chosen ones apart, the refusal to surrender when logic says it's over. Now you walk differently. The posture of your soul has changed. You carry quiet authority, not loud, not boastful, but steady and undeniable. You no longer need validation to feel valuable. Heaven's approval is enough. You have been tested, and you have come out purified. The storm you survived has become your testimony. It taught you who God truly is, not just the God who blesses, but the God who sustains, not just the God who speaks, but the one who stays silent and still proves faithful. That revelation has reshaped your entire being. You don't pray the same anymore. You don't panic the same anymore. You know that even in chaos, heaven is at work. This is why storms come to the chosen. They come not to destroy, but to reveal. You cannot discover divine strength until everything else fails. You cannot know peace until you've faced true fear. You cannot be crowned without enduring the storm that tests your loyalty to heaven. And you, beloved, have endured well. You have walked through days when the sky fell heavy, when betrayal stung like lightning, when loneliness cut deeper than any sword. But still, you stood, you bent, but you didn't break. You wept, but you didn't withdraw. You questioned, but you didn't quit. That's what crowns are made of: unseen endurance, silent faith, and unwavering love. The angels that surround you now don't look at your wounds as weakness, they see them as medals. Every scar tells them you can be trusted with more. Every time you survived when others didn't, heaven took note. And now, the glory that rests on you carries weight, spiritual gravity that pulls others toward light. But this is not where your story ends, it's where it multiplies. The crown you carry is not for vanity, it's for influence. You wear it not to be admired, but to serve. You are called to lift others the way heaven lifted you. That is how you honor what you survived, by becoming a living reminder that storms end and crowns come. There are souls waiting for your voice, your story, your testimony. Your endurance has given you language that broken hearts will understand. Your crown shines brightest when it's used to guide others through the dark. You are not just a survivor, you are a signpost pointing to hope. And if this message resonates deep within you, if something in your spirit says, "This is me," then let it move you to action. When you like, share, and subscribe, don't do it out of routine. Do it as a declaration that you are part of this rising remnant. Every click, every share is a ripple in eternity, carrying this word to another soul standing in their own storm. You never know whose life will shift because you decided to pass the light forward. Maybe someone on the edge of giving up will see it because of you. Maybe an exhausted believer will hear it and find breath again. Heaven often uses small acts to create great waves. So do this not for numbers, not for recognition, but as a prophetic act, an offering of gratitude for every storm you survived. Because when the crowned ones share light, heaven multiplies it. You are living proof that no storm lasts forever and that crowns are forged in rain. The thunder once frightened you, but now it sounds like applause. The lightning that once blinded you now illuminates your path. You are crowned by the very chaos that tried to consume you. Stand tall, chosen one. You've earned every gleam of that invisible crown. Walk forward with grace, with peace, and with fire in your eyes. The storm has passed. The throne of purpose awaits. You stand now between what was and what is being revealed. The air feels charged again. But this time, it's not the heaviness of battle, it's the weight of glory. Something is descending upon you, unseen yet undeniable. It's not a whisper, not a command, but a clothing. Heaven is placing something new on your shoulders. The mantle is descending. You've heard of mantles before. Stories of prophets and leaders in ancient times who carried heaven's authority like a robe of fire. But now you understand that the mantle is not a story, it's an inheritance. Every season you survived, every test you endured, every act of obedience in secret has prepared you for this exact moment. Heaven is not just calling you anymore, it's commissioning you. When a mantle falls, it changes everything. You no longer operate as you once did. The words that come from your mouth carry weight. The prayers that leave your lips stir movement in the unseen. The atmosphere around you begins to align with heaven's rhythm. You are no longer just receiving light, you are radiating it. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 45. Verse 7, You love righteousness and hate wickedness, therefore God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness above your companions. That anointing now flows over you not in drops, but in abundance. It saturates your being, marking you as one heaven trusts. The oil you carry is not just symbolic, it is functional. It empowers your voice, illuminates your path, and draws others toward truth. Wherever you step, the fragrance of that anointing lingers. You may not feel ready, but that is the sign that you are. Heaven does not choose the confident, it chooses the willing. The mantle comes not to those who think they can, but to those who whisper, Here I am. Your humility has made room for this moment. Your surrender has opened the heavens above you. This mantle is not a reward for perfection, it's a responsibility born from obedience. It is heavy because it carries purpose. It requires discipline, discernment, and devotion. Heaven cannot entrust this kind of authority to the careless or distracted. It rests only on those whose hearts remain pure when no one is watching. When Elijah's mantle fell upon Elisha, it didn't just give him power, it gave him assignment. The same is true for you. You are being called to step into greater influence, to speak truth where deception reigns, to love fiercely in a world grown cold. This mantle is not meant to elevate your name, it's meant to glorify His. With the mantle comes new awareness. You will begin to sense things before they happen, to discern motives behind words, to hear heaven's direction in moments others overlook. This is not paranoia, it's perception. Heaven sharpens your senses to guide you with precision. You are being trained to navigate the unseen with authority. But this new level will also draw new opposition. The mantle attracts both light and resistance. When God marks someone, the enemy notices. Yet, you need not fear. What rests upon you is not fragile, it's fortified. The anointing on your life does not make you vulnerable. It makes you untouchable within the will of God. You may feel the weight of this mantle pressing on you, almost like gravity pulling stronger. That's because it is alive, it moves with purpose. It molds you, stretches you, demands more surrender. But do not resist it. Yield to its shaping power. The more you yield, the more heaven reveals. Your words will soon begin to shift atmospheres without effort. People will feel peace when you speak, conviction when you pray, healing when you touch their hands. It won't be because of your talent, it will be because of the oil that flows from your obedience. You are becoming a living conduit between heaven and earth. You will notice an increased sensitivity to truth and deception. What once seemed tolerable will now feel unbearable. The spirit within you will no longer allow compromise. That is the mantle protecting its own purity. It refuses to coexist with what contaminates. You are entering a phase where your very presence becomes prophetic. You won't always have to speak to release heaven's will. Sometimes, your silence will carry more power than 1,000 words. That's the weight of the mantle. It speaks, even when you do not. Remember, this mantle is not just for you. It's for the people you will touch, the souls that will find refuge in your obedience. You are being entrusted with influence, not to dominate, but to deliver, not to boast, but to bless. You will carry this presence into places that forgot what holiness feels like, and light will return through your obedience. As you walk forward, the old garments of fear and insecurity will fall away completely. You are no longer the one who questioned their worth. You are the one heaven trusts to carry its glory. Every step you take now will leave divine footprints on the earth. Stand tall under this weight. Chosen one. The mantle is not crushing you, it's crowning you. Heaven has clothed you with purpose. You are anointed for this hour, appointed for this generation, and equipped for the battles ahead. The world may not see it yet, but the spiritual realm already knows a mantle has fallen, and it carries your name. The sky above you feels different now. There's movement, subtle yet undeniable, as if heaven itself is leaning closer to the earth. The signs are all around you, alignments, coincidences that feel too precise to be random, doors opening without explanation, words arriving at the perfect time. The natural realm is responding to spiritual activity. You are walking beneath open heavens. When heaven releases angels, creation reacts, winds shift, circumstances bend. Paths that once seemed blocked suddenly unfold like scrolls unsealed. What's happening in your life right now is not mere luck, it is evidence of divine orchestration. You are living inside prophecy. It was proclaimed in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28, and afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. Those words were not written for the past, they are unfolding in the present. You are part of that outpouring. That's why the atmosphere around you feels charged with meaning. Heaven is revealing itself through signs, patterns, and confirmations tailored specifically for you. Think of how many times recently you've seen the same number, heard the same phrase, or met someone who said exactly what your heart needed to hear. These are not coincidences, they are communications. Heaven often speaks through repetition until you recognize the message. The divine language is symbolic, and your spirit understands it even before your mind does. You are learning to interpret heaven's language in your own life. Each confirmation, each unexpected piece, each divine interruption is part of a greater message. You are seen. You are guided. You are chosen. Miracles no longer feel distant, they feel near, intimate, accessible. They happen in the small things, the sudden provision when you had nothing left, the unexpected kindness that breaks through loneliness, the timing that feels impossible yet perfect. These are the fingerprints of God, subtle yet irrefutable. You will begin to see the number of divine coincidences increase because heaven is making sure you do not doubt what's unfolding. The veil is thinner than ever. Dreams will speak with clarity. Scripture will seem to come alive. You'll feel led to the right verse at the right moment, and that word will burn in your chest with confirmation. Even the weather will sometimes mirror what's happening inside your spirit. Storms break when you surrender. Rain falls when your heart releases. Light pierces clouds the moment you choose faith. The physical world knows the sound of heaven and responds when its chosen ones rise in obedience. This is not superstition, it's synchronization. Creation itself longs for the revelation of the children of God. When you walk in alignment, the world around you begins to reflect that alignment. You are not waiting for signs, you are becoming one. The more you lean into this awareness, the more your spiritual senses sharpen. You'll start to hear the subtle movements of heaven like a melody in the background of your days. It will come through songs that play at just the right time, through phrases you overhear that echo your prayer, through moments that feel choreographed by divine intelligence. Do not dismiss them. Pay attention. Every sign is a thread woven into the larger tapestry of your destiny. Heaven is not teasing you, it's training you to recognize its patterns. The more aware you become, the more clearly you'll discern when God speaks. This is the stage of revelation where faith meets manifestation. You are no longer only believing, you are beginning to see. The things you prayed for are materializing. The words spoken over your life are taking shape. The angels that were released in earlier seasons are now completing their assignments. And through all of this, one truth remains constant. Heaven is intentional. Nothing in your life is wasted, misplaced, or delayed. Everything is arriving right on time, exactly as written. You may not always understand the process, but you are part of a plan so vast that even the stars align to mark your moments. So when you witness these signs, when the confirmation comes again, when the dream repeats, when peace floods your chest at the sound of a single word, pause, whisper gratitude. Heaven is speaking your name through the fabric of reality. And if your spirit recognizes this truth, if you've been seeing the signs, sensing the movement, feeling heaven's nearness, then, as a prophetic act, comment the number 444 below. That number represents divine alignment and angelic confirmation. It is heaven's way of saying, you are on the right path. When you type it, you're not summoning something, you're agreeing with what already exists. You are acknowledging that you see what heaven is doing and that you are ready for more. Each time you write that number, you echo what the angels already know. Heaven's plans concerning you are unfolding perfectly. You are aligned, covered, and guided. The signs are not random, they are reminders, and they are everywhere. Because heaven has decided that you will never miss what was meant for you. The air is thick with transition. You can almost taste change on your tongue, something sacred, something turning. The weight that once pressed you down is shifting, not disappearing, but transforming. Heaven is performing a holy exchange, a divine reversal where loss becomes leverage and delay becomes destiny. You stand at the edge of a spiritual horizon, watching the light return to places that once felt forgotten. It's as though time itself has been rewound, not to erase your past, but to redeem it. The same moments that once broke you are being rewritten into testimonies of mercy. You are about to witness what restoration truly means. For every closed door, another one opens wider. For every betrayal, new loyalty is rising from unexpected places. What you thought was wasted will return with purpose multiplied. The years that felt devoured are being restored, quietly but surely. The Spirit is breathing on old ground, and what looked like ashes begins to glow again. You will see it even in the places you abandoned, the dreams you left buried under fear. The soil of disappointment is beginning to stir, and what once seemed dead is breaking open with new growth. The Spirit never forgets where you've sown. Every buried prayer is germinating in secret light. And as restoration unfolds, gratitude will flood your heart in waves. You'll realize that heaven never denied you, it only delayed you until you could carry the weight of the blessing. Every waiting season becomes holy now, transformed into proof that timing is protection, and patience is the gate to glory, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, "And I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Those words echo through your present moment. They were not written for a forgotten nation. They are alive for you now. Restoration is not a metaphor, it's movement. Heaven is reversing the flow of your story. The current that once dragged you backward is now pushing you forward with divine force. You will soon recognize this reversal in the smallest things, the conversation that reopens a long-shut door, the opportunity that arrives from a place you once left in disappointment, the peace that greets you in situations that used to trigger anxiety. These are signs that the tide has turned. You are no longer walking beneath the shadow of what was lost. You are walking in the light of what's being redeemed. Heaven wastes nothing. Even your regrets are being recycled into wisdom. The scars that embarrassed you will soon shine as credentials of survival. You once cried out, "Why did this have to happen?" And heaven whispered back, "So I could show you what I can do with broken pieces." This is that moment. The potter has taken the fragments and formed something new, something stronger than before. Reversal does not always come as noise or spectacle. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like dawn after a long night. The light grows, minute by minute, until you realize the darkness is gone. That's how restoration moves. It sneaks in as peace before it manifests as blessing. The angels who once fought for your survival now work to establish your increase. They are rearranging the landscape of your life so that every past wound becomes an open gate for favor. What once hurt you will soon help you. The tables are turning, and heaven is setting a feast where you once wept. Look closely at your story. It's changing shape. The lines of sorrow are curving into poetry. The sentences of pain are being rewritten with grace. Heaven is editing your history without erasing its lessons. You are not being returned to who you were. You are being revealed as who you truly are. This reversal is not merely personal, it's generational. The cycles that plagued your family, the silence, the striving, the lack end with you. What you conquer will never touch those who come after. The blessing is expanding outward, reaching places you will never physically go, but that will still bear your name in heaven's record. Even the enemy can feel it. The atmosphere of defeat he once celebrated has turned against him. Every accusation he raised now becomes evidence of your endurance. Every trap he laid becomes a platform beneath your feet. The very storms that drenched you now water the seeds of your purpose. Stand in the stillness for a moment. Breathe. Feel the shift. You can sense it. Can't you? The weight of delay is lifting, replaced by momentum. The ache in your chest is softening into gratitude. What once was taken from you is not gone. It's being returned, refined, and multiplied. Restoration is not coming. It has already begun. The sound of it is in the air, a quiet rhythm of renewal. A melody only the awakened can hear. Heaven is rewriting your ending, and the ink it uses is glory. All across the earth, something is stirring. You can feel it like the vibration of distant thunder, an awakening not of chaos, but of calling. Heaven is assembling its remnant. The chosen are rising, each carrying their own fire, their own scars, their own testimony of endurance. This is not coincidence, this is convergence. You were never meant to stand alone. Every isolated season you endured was preparation for this gathering. Heaven scattered its warriors across the nations, hidden in ordinary lives, concealed in silence until now. The same spirit that awakened you is awakening others, drawing them out of shadows, summoning them into unity. You are part of a divine formation. As the apostle reminds us in the first letter to Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. That is the declaration written over this moment. The royal priesthood is remembering its name. The army of light is stepping into alignment. Across oceans and languages, hearts beat to the same rhythm, the rhythm of awakening. You will begin to encounter them. These other chosen ones. Some will appear as strangers, but when they speak, something inside you will recognize them. Their words will feel like home, their presence like confirmation. Heaven weaves these meetings with precision, connecting threads that have waited lifetimes to touch. This army does not march with swords, but with truth. Its weapon is compassion. Its shield is faith. Its banner is love. The world will not understand the quiet power it carries. It will mistake meekness for weakness, gentleness for passivity, but heaven knows otherwise. This is the generation that will not bow to fear. Each chosen one carries a fragment of divine design. Some bring healing, others revelation, others creativity or courage. Alone, they shine like stars. Together, they form constellations that light the world. Unity is not sameness, it is harmony. The remnant does not compete, it completes. Heaven never builds armies out of pride. It gathers the broken, the surrendered, the ones who learned humility through hardship. That is why the light in this army is pure. It comes from refined souls. They are warriors who no longer seek glory for themselves, but glory through obedience. The angels move among them, coordinating divine assignments like commanders in a celestial campaign. One speaks truth in a boardroom. Another prays quietly in a hospital. Another paints visions of hope on empty walls. The battlefield is everywhere: homes, schools, streets, media. Art and the chosen are everywhere too. The kingdom of God advances through their daily acts of faith. You are one of them. You may not have seen your full place yet, but heaven has already marked your position. You were crafted for a role no one else can fill. The frequency of your voice, the pattern of your spirit, the shape of your calling, each fits perfectly into this heavenly design. This unity does not erase individuality. It magnifies it. When the light of one chosen one meets another, it doesn't dim, it multiplies. The darkness cannot withstand such collaboration. That is why isolation was always the enemy's tactic, to keep you disconnected from your tribe. But that season has ended. Heaven is reconnecting what hell tried to separate. When the army rises, the atmosphere changes. You will notice it in the collective hunger for truth, in the rising boldness of faith, in the sudden wave of compassion that melts division. This is revival, not a single event, but a movement of hearts synchronized with heaven. The world has seen power, but it has not yet seen purity like this. The chosen are not motivated by fame or fear. They are fueled by love. Their goal is not domination, but transformation. They know that to change the world, they must first embody the light. The remnant is fearless because it remembers eternity. It does not tremble before kings or trends or threats. It walks softly, but carries the weight of heaven. When one speaks, angels listen. When one prays, cities shift. When one falls, the others lift them up. This is the beauty of divine brotherhood. And you, chosen one, are being positioned among them. Heaven has not brought you this far to leave you in isolation. The same fire that burns in you burns in countless others. Soon, your paths will intersect in ways you never imagined. You'll find yourself surrounded by people who understand without explanation, who love without conditions, who carry the same holy hunger in their bones. Together, you will move as one body, different voices, same spirit, different gifts, same goal. The harmony will be undeniable. The earth will feel it. Even the heavens will rejoice. For unity on earth mirrors the harmony above. This is the season of gathering, the moment heaven's army takes formation, not with violence, but with vision, not with conquest, but with compassion. The chosen ones are rising, and they are radiant. The darkness trembles because it remembers what happens when light unites. You were never just chosen for survival, you were chosen for synergy. You are part of something vast, beautiful, and divine. The army rises, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The hour has grown heavy again. The light within you burns bright, but you can feel the shadows gathering at the edges. The closer you move to destiny, the louder the resistance becomes. It's the final confrontation, not a battle fought with weapons, but one waged in faith, endurance, and truth. Do not be afraid of this intensity. It is the proof that you are near breakthrough. Darkness never fights the complacent. It wars against those who carry revelation. You have become too radiant to remain unnoticed. Every attack that rises against you now is confirmation that heaven's glory is increasing through you. The ancient words recorded in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 31, still echo through eternity. If God is for us, who can be against us? This is not a question, it is a declaration. When heaven stands behind you, opposition becomes opportunity. The darkness can scream, but it cannot stop the will of God. You are not in danger, you are in demonstration. Heaven is using this confrontation to reveal how unshakable your foundation truly is. You have been prepared for this moment. Every trial before this was training. Every tear built endurance. Every rejection stripped away weakness. You are not the same soul who began this journey. You are fortified, fire-tested, and fearless. The storm that's coming does not stand a chance against the one who's already walked through fire and lived. You will feel the pressure. Yes, but pressure is not defeat. It is heaven's tool for releasing the oil you carry. When you feel squeezed, remember, only vessels filled with purpose attract the press. Only those chosen for impact face this level of intensity. The enemy wants you to believe that this is punishment, but it's promotion in disguise. Heaven is proving your authority by allowing resistance to test it. Every time you stand your ground, the realm of darkness loses territory. Every moment you refuse to bend, angels advance. There will be moments when silence feels suffocating, when you wonder if heaven still hears you. In those moments, close your eyes and listen, not for thunder or lightning, but for the steady heartbeat of faith inside you. That rhythm is proof that you are still in alignment. Heaven never leaves its soldiers alone on the field. This confrontation is not about your destruction, it's about your demonstration. Heaven is revealing through your endurance that light never loses to darkness. You are not being broken, you are being broadcast. Every eye watching your struggle will soon witness your strength. You will emerge from this not bitter, but brighter. The fire meant to consume you will refine you instead. The raw, meant to silence you will become your testimony. The weight pressing against you now will transform into wings that lift you higher. You were born for this hour. And if this word finds your heart and burns within you, take a breath and remember you are not fighting alone. All around the world, other chosen ones are standing in their own battles, carrying their own torches, believing for the same victory. You are part of that divine company, joined not by proximity, but by purpose. When you like, share, and subscribe, do it not as habit, but as a declaration that you are standing with heaven's army. Every action you take helps this light spread farther. Someone on the edge of surrender might find strength because you decided to pass the message on. That's how movements begin, not with noise, but with faith made visible. And when you leave a comment below, let it be more than words. Speak from the depth of your spirit. Write what resonates, what you're believing for, what you're overcoming. This is not a digital act, it's a prophetic one. Heaven hears faith when it's written just as clearly as when it's spoken. Your comment becomes an altar, a moment of agreement that heaven records. Maybe write something simple, something honest. Maybe I still believe, because that's what this entire journey has been about. Not perfection, but perseverance. Every storm has tried to silence that declaration, but here you are, still believing, still burning, still chosen. The darkness around you is not your end, it's the canvas for your next miracle. When the night grows thickest, the dawn is already forming on the horizon. You are minutes away from breakthrough, from manifestation, from glory revealed. So hold your head high. Chosen one. Let the winds rage and the shadows roar, they are only announcing what heaven is about to unveil. You are the proof that faith conquers fear, that light outlasts darkness, that the chosen cannot be defeated. And when this storm passes, as it surely will, you will stand radiant and unshaken, carrying the sound of victory in your very breath. The storm has passed, and silence follows, not an empty silence, but one filled with awe. You stand in it, feeling the air settle around you, realizing that everything has changed. The sky is clearer, the light sharper, and the peace within you deeper than it has ever been. Heaven has done what it promised. Glory has descended. You once wondered what it would feel like to walk in purpose. Now you know. There is no trumpet, no fanfare, no sudden transformation of circumstance, only an inner certainty that you have become the vessel you were meant to be. What once felt distant now flows through you with ease. You have become the bridge between heaven and earth. The presence that once visited now abides. It rests upon you like sunlight, constant and gentle, illuminating everything it touches. People begin to sense it without words. Peace surrounds you as if it has learned your name. This is what it means to live under open heaven, not to escape the world, but to reveal heaven within it. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." You are that city now. You are not just carrying light, you are becoming it. Every step you take sends ripples through the unseen. Every breath releases peace into the atmosphere. You are not striving for presence anymore, you are embodying it. This is what happens when glory manifests on earth through human form. There is a calm confidence in you now. You no longer react to chaos, you respond with wisdom. You no longer chase answers, you carry them. The storms that once shook you no longer have power, because you have learned to rule them from within. Glory is not about noise, it's about authority clothed in gentleness. You begin to notice how easily grace flows through your life. Conversations shift. Hearts soften. Peace replaces pressure. Miracles no longer surprise you, they follow you. Not because you seek them, but because glory always produces fruit. You have entered a rhythm where the supernatural feels natural. This is not arrogance, it's alignment. You are finally walking at heaven's pace, moving with divine timing instead of human urgency. The days of striving are over. The Spirit leads, and you follow effortlessly, trusting the unseen more than the visible. You've learned that obedience is not heavy, it's harmony. The places that once felt barren now bloom around you. People drawn into your orbit begin to heal. Not because you force change, but because glory radiates from your peace. The same light that once rescued you now shines through you to rescue others. This is the flow of heaven. What it touches, it transforms. Even creation responds to glory. You'll find moments where the wind seems to whisper, where sunlight breaks through clouds at perfect timing, where stillness feels alive. These are not coincidences, they are reflections of divine order moving through you. Heaven and earth are finally in conversation again, and you are the translator between them. Glory does not separate you from the world, it anchors you within it. You will walk among the broken and the weary, not as one above them, but as one beside them, carrying the same compassion that lifted you. The deeper the glory, the softer the heart. You are learning that true authority never crushes, it restores. This manifestation of glory is not meant for a moment, it's a lifestyle. Every ordinary act, every smile, every prayer, every gesture of kindness becomes a doorway for heaven to touch earth. You are no longer waiting for revival, you are living as revival. Wherever you go, the kingdom expands. There will still be challenges, but you will face them differently. Glory doesn't promise an absence of struggle, it promises victory within it. You will move through opposition with grace, through disappointment with gratitude, through delay with trust. You know now that every moment carries purpose, even those wrapped in mystery. As you walk, you'll find heaven speaking to you in new ways, through colors, through music, through silence itself. The world feels more alive because you are tuned to its creator's voice. You will begin to see people not as problems, but as promises waiting to be fulfilled. The love flowing through you will become contagious, unstoppable, pure. This is what it means to live crowned with glory, to see with heaven's eyes, to hear with heaven's ears, to love with heaven's heart. You are no longer striving to be chosen, you are living as chosen. Every moment becomes sacred. Every breath becomes worship. You once prayed for revival to come, now revival walks through you. You once asked God to show up, now you realize He never left. You are living proof that glory can dwell within flesh, that heaven can breathe through humanity, that divine light can inhabit a human soul without consuming it. This is your purpose fulfilled, not perfection, but presence. You have become what you were always meant to be, a living reflection of the one who sent you. Glory has found a home, and its address is your heart. It happens quietly, almost tenderly. The sky that once trembled with warfare now glows with peace. The heavens have finished their declaration. And the angels, those radiant messengers of fire, stand in formation one final time. They have carried you through storms and silence, through wilderness and awakening. Now, they wait, wings poised, as heaven speaks your name once more. This is not the beginning of your journey, nor is it its end. It is the coronation of everything you have become. The long road of breaking and building has brought you to this sacred place where destiny is no longer a promise but a presence. You are not waiting for the crown has already been placed upon you. The word of the Lord shines again through the book of Revelation. Chapter 3, verse 11. Behold, I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. That verse is not a warning, it is a reminder. The crown you carry is not fragile. It is forged in endurance. It cannot be stolen, only surrendered. And you have proven that you will not lay it down. You've held your faith through darkness, kept your heart pure in the midst of temptation, and stayed true even when silence felt endless. Heaven has watched, and heaven now honors. The coronation of the chosen is not ceremony, it is revelation. The angels gather not to witness your victory, but to affirm heaven's investment. The Father looks upon you and sees his reflection. The same fire that burns in his throne now burns in your soul. The journey was not to make you worthy, it was to reveal that you already were. You feel it in your spirit, a weight, but not a burden. It's the weight of glory, settling like a mantle across your shoulders. Every scar glows with light. Every tear becomes a jewel. Every act of obedience shines like gold, refined in flame. What once felt like pain now looks like preparation. You finally see it clearly, nothing was wasted. Heaven does not crown performance, it crowns persistence. You were not chosen because you were flawless, you were chosen because you were faithful. In the unseen places, you chose truth over convenience, surrender over pride, compassion over control. Those quiet choices became the architecture of your anointing. Now, the angels move closer. You can sense their reverence not for your power, but for your perseverance. They know what it means for a soul to stay pure while walking through fire. They know what it costs to keep believing when sight offers no proof. You have done what few dare, you have remained. In this moment, heaven breathes your name with joy. The sound rolls across eternity, not as a shout, but as a song. It is the melody of fulfillment, the sound that creation itself has been waiting to hear. You are crowned, not because you conquered everything, but because you refused to quit when everything tried to conquer you. Your crown is invisible to the world, but unmistakable in the spirit. It is authority sealed with compassion, power wrapped in humility, glory balanced by grace. You wear it not to dominate, but to deliver, not to boast, but to bless. Every place your foot touches becomes holy ground, because you carry heaven wherever you go. You will notice that even time seems to honor you now. What once rushed past you now bows to your pace. The frantic striving is over. The crown teaches you to move differently, to walk in peace, to speak with wisdom, to act from stillness. The true mark of the crowned is calm. Heaven celebrates, but earth will soon follow. People will sense something changed about you, even if they cannot explain it. You won't need to prove it. The presence will prove itself. Your eyes will carry light that words cannot describe. Your voice will hold authority that does not shout, but still shakes the air. And as you stand in that holy radiance, you will realize this truth. The crown was never the goal, it was the confirmation. The purpose of the journey was not glory, but transformation. You are no longer the one who sought God's favor, you are the one who carries it. You have become the answer to prayers you once prayed in desperation. This is heaven's final word. It is finished. And it is fulfilled. The angels lower their wings in honor. The heavens resound with quiet joy. And eternity writes your name among the faithful. You are sealed, crowned, and commissioned. The story that began in fire now ends in light. And as the heavens rest, one truth stands eternal. You were, and will always be, God's chosen one. The message has been spoken, the journey completed, and the veil between heaven and earth gently closes, but not with finality. The echo remains, pulsing through your spirit like a sacred heartbeat. You have walked through calling, fire, warfare, revelation, and glory, and through it all, one truth has been carved into your soul. You were never abandoned. You were always chosen. Look at how far you've come. Every wilderness became a classroom. Every storm became an anointing. Every delay became divine timing. And now, as the light of this message settles around you, heaven smiles because you didn't just read words, you lived them. You allowed them to enter your heart, to shake, to refine, to awaken. You are no longer merely hearing a prophetic story. You are standing inside one. Heaven's fingerprints are on your life. And this script, the one written between the lines of your struggle and surrender, is your proof. You have become the living testimony of what faith can do when it refuses to let go. Now, pause for a moment. Breathe. Feel that quiet warmth in your chest. That's heaven saying, "Well done. You've made it through the pages of Revelation and found yourself in the middle of transformation. This isn't the end, it's the continuation of everything divine that began before you were born. And if something in this journey has touched you, if it has reignited your hope, strengthened your faith, or reminded you who you are, then let this be more than a conclusion. Let it be a connection. When you like, you give life to the light. When you share, you extend heaven's voice beyond yourself. When you subscribe, you join a growing remnant, a community of souls who, like you, are learning to walk as the chosen. Each action is a seed. Each engagement, a ripple. Maybe the very message that carried you through will reach someone else's breaking point because you decided to pass it forward. That is how heaven multiplies light through willing hearts, through small gestures that carry eternal impact. And before you leave, take a moment to comment below. Write what stirred in you, what you're claiming, what you're grateful for. Your words are more than digital echoes, they are declarations. They inspire the next person searching for confirmation, the next soul on the edge of awakening. So write boldly, share freely, stay connected deeply, because heaven isn't done speaking, and neither are you. The journey continues through every word you carry, through every act of love you release, through every step you take in obedience. You have answered the call. Chosen one, the angels have rejoiced. Now go and live as the message itself, light among shadows, peace among storms, heaven walking the earth.